What's going on, everybody? Jarrett with Jarrett Rushing Fishing back again with a new video, and as you can see, I'm in the boat, but I'm not on the water. The reason is I am actually rigging up tackle right now for my second event of the year, which is going to be the TBF of Arkansas kickoff event on Lake Hamilton. Now, the reason you're here is you want to see a recap of the Anvil Jaw event that happened on February the 3rd. I got some bad news for you. There's not a lot of fishing footage. It rained all day long, and I left the camera in the dry storage the majority of the day. Now, there is some footage. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you there is some, and they'll be included at the very end of this video. But for the most part, this is just going to be a talk and a visit video. So, between the rain, soaking wet, the flat tire that I had on the way up to the event on my trailer, the fact that I didn't have a four-way because I forgot to put it in my new truck, so I had to MacGyver the lugs off of the trailer. And then to end the day, my boat escaped the dry dock that I had made it on and was floating around while I was backing my trailer up out in the middle of the water, just by itself. Had a mind of its own, right amongst all the other anglers that were trying to load their boat. That should pretty well sum up how my day went. But I will say this, I went on record on Facebook telling everybody that I was going to put God first this year. And I use all of this as a learning opportunity. This is a chance for me to learn some of the things I did wrong. The one thing I did wrong, and if you don't get anything else from this video, is if you have not fished in 3 months and you're planning to go fish a tournament, make sure that you do a little calisthenics, some stretching or something, because boy, fishing shape is real. And whenever you're out of it, it's bad. I stayed locked up for about a day and a half. Sore, legs were sore, back was sore. I'm better now. Getting ready to go this Saturday. I did weigh in 585, which had me 40th out of 58 anglers. And huge shout out to Blade Bachelor for weighing in 23 pounds. 23 pounds of Hamilton bass. That's crazy. I had a shot at probably 10 to 11 pounds worth, which if I would have got on the upper 10 mark, it would have pushed me close to 10th place, which was check range. I think we paid out one place for every 5 places, so his 10th or 11th place got a check. So I'd have been right there on the cusp. But with that said, I just didn't execute very well. I was rusty. I really was. Not making any excuses. Should have done better, but I was rusty. So to kind of tell you what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the baits that I used. I'm going to talk about where I was at. And then again, we're going to wrap this thing up with a little bit of fishing footage off of the day. So to begin, I started on the low end, found some muddy water, found some shad. I tried to catch fish out of them and just couldn't do it. I ended up leaving there, going up the river, and ended up finding a cove way up north of Mid-Lake there that had a bunch of shad in it. And I caught my first keeper of the day on a Black's Widowmaker, which I know this is their his BFL rigs, but I don't have a brand new one, and I wanted to be able to show off his box. Y'all go to Black's Custom Lures or blackscustom.com. He's on Facebook. Just type in the Google search engine, Black's Custom Lures, and go look at his Widowmakers, his A-rigs. And I had the new, I think it's a Gen Z maybe, or Gen X. It's the new one. It's Gen 2 maybe? I don't remember what it is. It's the Gen something. But I had it paired with his swim jig head. You can see there. 1/16 ounce. And for a swim bait, I was using the Sight Flash Kitech 2.8 swim bait. The reason I was using such a small swim bait is because I found shad that were only 2 inches long. There's a bunch of them. There was a whole bunch of them, so I wanted to try to scale down, get something a little bit flashier than what those shad were, and I ended up catching one out of a ball of shad that was about 3 pounds. It was about this time I get the phone call that my truck lights are on. So about the time I catch my first fish, I got word that my truck lights were on. So again, brand new truck, I opted rather than just let the battery run down to drive all the way back down the lower end of the lake and go turn my lights off. So I lost a little bit of fish in there. From there, I went back out into the mid-lake, and I ended up missing 2 fish on the Widowmaker, the A-rig. And one of them was a good fish. One of them was a real good fish. I don't know how in the world you stick one, you know, in about 12 foot of water. You assume that you're going to have a pretty good run on one, but stuck him, held him for just a minute, and then came off. I went to some bluff rock to see if I couldn't make one bite, and ended up pulling off a small fish on an Arky 350 red crawl. Now this is the 220. This is the smaller version. I've got a 350 tied on a rod right now, but after putting all my rods up and deciding I was going to do this video, I decided I'm not going to pull my rods out to show you that bait. So I dug around, found a 220. Same exact thing, just a bigger profile. Pulled one off on it, and after fishing bluff with a crankbait for a while, I decided I was going to go back into the mud where I went early in the morning. Pulled into the first spot and started chunking around a spinnerbait. I was throwing one of Brad's custom lures spinnerbaits with a gold willow and a silver Colorado kicker and the white chartreuse, 1/4 ounce, because I wanted something smaller profile. Ended up catching one that was about 12 1/4 inches long. So at this point, this is around 12:30 in the afternoon. I had 2 fish in the boat for, you know, approximately 3 3/4 to 4 pounds. The further back into this particular arm that I went on the lower end, it got muddier and muddier and muddier because of all the runoff. And it got to the point where the profile of this bait didn't look great. So I switched over to a War Eagle. And I will say the reason I was throwing a War Eagle is because I did not have one of Brad's with the orange or red kicker blade handy. They were in a box in my shop, but they are now in my tackle box. But I threw a War Eagle, white chartreuse with the orange kicker, and I ended up catching my 3rd fish on that bait right there. It was about a 2.5 pound, 2 1/4 pound bass. Again, put me at 2.85, so probably closer to 2 1/4, 2 pounds, somewhere in there. But that's the bites that I had that I stuck that were keepers. Now I did have a couple of bites on both spinner baits where the fish actually felt like they were just hitting the lead willow leaf. Felt like they were just hitting that, knocking slack in it, weren't getting a hook in them. I tried slow rolling it a little bit. I tried adding a trailer, tried doing everything, and just couldn't make them commit to it. It was a weird bite, to be flat out honest. It was a very weird bite. But I was proud, nevertheless, to not zero. So I started the year out at least weighing in fish. Would have loved to have had a limit. Would have loved to have cashed a check, but it's the break sometimes. And now I am preparing for the TBF kickoff event. So with that, I'm going to show you a little bit of the footage from the tournament itself. I appreciate y'all following along. I promise you there's going to be better content whenever we have good days and I can leave the camera out all day. Right now, Saturday, February the 10th, is looking like there's going to be a 50% chance of rain. So hopefully we can get a little bit of content and be able to show you some stuff before we got to put the camera up. Maybe that rain will come in late and we can film the whole day. But one way or another, y'all tune in, follow along, hit that subscribe button, and enjoy the rest of this video. Well, good morning, everybody. We're here at the Anvil Jaw Kickoff event on Lake Hamilton. And let me get y'all plugged in here and show you how my day started out so far. I mean, blowout on the trailer. I got here about 8 minutes before the table closed. I'm waiting in line now. There's about 3 boats, and then we're going to get kicked off. Let's hope that today's better than it started. There you go. We getting ready to start fishing. We're not actually far from the blast off. I'm actually kind of just catty corner to where blast off was. I got a tip that there may be some fish over here, so we're going to try and see what happens. Alright y'all, looking back this way, it's about to rain. I don't know how much more filming we'll get to do. If this is the video, I apologize. I'll do a wrap up here in a minute. So what's going on, everybody? So we're back. Rain's kind of slowed down. As you can see, I got one good one there at the top. I've actually got 3 in the box right now. Got 2 that are a little over 2 pounds a piece. Whew, I got wonky in there, didn't you? I got 2 that are over 2 pounds a piece, and then 1 that's a 12 incher. But we at least got some fish. Rain slacked up pretty good, so I'm going to plug y'all in, let y'all follow along. I have missed, I know 3 today that would have been weighers, so right now I feel like we ought to have a limit. I don't know what we're going to do next. I want to go down to Red Oak and see if I can make one bite down there. But to be honest, I'm really close to the ramp right now. I'm right here 2 coves over from the ramp, and I've had 3 bites here. Water here is muddy, and the further upriver I went, ooh, there's a bite right there. I guess I ought to pay attention, right? Alright, I'm recording this just in case I decide to post the video. You only see me catch a fish. I put the GoPro up because it was raining. I ended up weighing in 585 with 3 fish. And right now, out of 60 anglers, I'm probably going to be 45th, maybe. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm on the bottom 3rd for sure. But it is what it is. Long day. Got this one out of the way. I'm glad about that. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, following along, and like always, we'll keep chunking.